Need your pressure washing supplies fast? PPW Express brings you top brands, always in stock, and a mobile app that lets you order in seconds. Enjoy same-day shipping on every order placed before 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern. Download the PPW Express app today.
Stand out with custom gear from DAB Marketing. No design fees, no minimum orders. Just premium sublimated shirts built for the service industry. Look professional, look sharp. Get your gear from DAB.
Good evening. Happy Thursday, everybody. I'm Anthony here with Trudy. We're on the Clean Humor Podcast. Our guest tonight is David Sessions. Still in Georgia, I reckon. Where you still live at?
Yeah, I didn't move.
Still over in the great state of Georgia. And got to give a roll tide out to him. And everything we're going to talk about his founder's workshop thing he puts on, and figure out how that could help us in our businesses and everybody else's businesses, and get his thoughts on what he thought about the Panhandle Expo event. I believe that was your first time there. And let's start there and get your thoughts on that. And what do you think about that, the setup and way it was put together?
Yeah, it had been a while since I'd been to a pressure washing expo or convention, and the floor looked really nice. Like, y'all had a lot of quality products on the floor. There's a lot of I had a class before the day before it started, and the class before mine was like super informative as well. So yeah, I mean, overall, I think when I got out of our class, it was probably, I want to say like 6-7 o'clock or something. It was pretty late, and we walked outside and there was still like paver sealing teaching going on and stuff. So it was it seemed very informative. People were getting a lot of value out of it, so that was awesome to see.
Good. That's our intention, to educate and give people good information so they can get out there and do the best they can for their business and their family and their livelihood safely and effectively. So I'm happy, but I want to tell everybody happy Thanksgiving. We were not on here last Thursday, so I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving, and we are zooming really fast into the other holidays. So yeah, it's coming quicker than I know. Grandbabies are all excited. And the Christmas list is that big.
Yes.
So you, the Founders Workshop, I know you touched on base a little bit before the event. We were talking more about your class, but what is the Founders Workshop for people that do not know?
Yeah, so the Founders Workshop, I built a pressure washing company and to a point where somebody wanted to buy it, and we were able to sell it, found a good exit, and then started a detailing company. And in between that, we really started a consulting business for service businesses, because I found there was this gap in the industry where in almost any home service business, we have a lot of the same friction points. So like finding good labor, being able to keep them after you spend a lot of money and time training them, getting people to follow SOPs so they can maintain your equipment. You're not blowing through expensive equipment. And marketing, and this is generally in whether you're an electrician, a plumber, a pressure washer, or a detailer, these things are usually a problem. And so what we found is a lot of people do a lot of classes on techniques and the proper way to go about providing the service that your company provides, but never really teaches the owner how to make informed decisions on how to grow their business properly for the betterment of them and their employees. And so the Founders Workshop, we launched Facebook ads from your ads manager on your laptop in the workshop on day one. We actually had a guy in September that had already received over $2,000 worth of leads in just the 24 hours after we launched it on the first day. So it's really valuable. I think you get a better understanding, even if you're going to hire someone, like you have a good understanding of what to hold them accountable for. And then we go through creating standard operating procedures manuals, how to interview people, how to write a now hiring ad. I think a lot of people, things that I see is like, hey, I wrote this now hiring ad. These are the people I'm getting. And I read the now hiring ad. It's really a list of things that you hated about the last 4 people you hired. And it's for a quality, talented person, like that's not an attractive ad, right? And a lot of people hire based on experience. They want people to come in that already know some pressure washing or have some type of experience or background in that. And watch out. I saw her do that. Y'all go back and watch it. She pushed
Yeah,
it.
she did. I see it. She pushed it on you.
That's it every week.
Does it every week.
Oh, yes, she is. I'm just trying to get him. I tried to beat him on.
Trying to take Trudy out.
So we teach you how to do all of that stuff, and I think it just gives you a really good insight. And then on the last day, we go through your P&L. We create the next 6 months, what that's going to look like in your business. Have you like a weekly plan for you that ultimately, if you're doing this and you're putting your best foot forward every week and accomplishing those things, at the end of the 6 months, the goal is that you've doubled your revenue by coming to the workshop and developing that. So that's kind of the goal when we bring everybody in, and those kind of the things that we go through in the 2.5 days that you're there.
Now, does your program work no matter where anybody is? So, like, people ask me about advertising, and when I advertise in my little beachy town where there's a lot of tourists and not a lot of, homeowners, this is their second home. Marketing for us is a little bit different than you would if you've got subdivisions of people. So, will your program work no matter where they live, any state, any?
Yeah, you got to think most of the workshop is about development of system implementation, right?
Okay.
So we're teaching you how to ask the right questions in an interview. I think a lot of people start asking questions like, are you a hard worker? Do you show up on time? And like, what person isn't going to say yes in an interview to those questions? And so like, what are the questions you can actually glean something about this person and make informed decisions about who you're hiring? And then how do you onboard them and how do you train them? How do you keep them there after you've trained them and spent all that time? Those are the things that like we really try to focus on. Facebook, I think being in the first day is a great part to understand basic marketing because so many of us use Facebook, and not whether it's a Facebook paid ad or Facebook just using it on your page, whatever it may be, like really understanding what you're doing when you're on Facebook will help you save some money. But ultimately it gives you insight to like a market analysis. So Trudy, to your point, like if you work in an area where you have a bunch of people that own second homes in that area and for a large portion of the year maybe aren't there, then how do you understand that without either one, spending 3 years getting to know the area by working in it, or before you ever launch, do a market analysis and understand that this is a second home area and like what does that mean and how do we still attract business from those customers? Because to your point, you still get business from them. It's just you have to go about it a different way. And having a market analysis lets you understand like how you're going to go about tackling that. Some people come to us that are in industries where I frankly think they shouldn't start with Facebook at all. Like I would recommend Google before I would recommend Facebook in some industries. And some of them I recommend Facebook, and some of them there's a lot of grassroots efforts that you can do that I think a lot of people should exploit before even going to paid ads. So we get to talk about those as well and try to better understand like how can we make sure we're maximizing all the free opportunities to keep our acquisition costs as low as possible.
Is this a in-person attending or can you attend this online also?
It's in person because of the amount of knowledge and the depth of what we're covering. We have to we're going to be working on a laptop. You're going to have your laptop. We're going to be walking around sitting next to you, showing you how to move the mouse, where to click, what to do. Some of the stuff we go over like Canva is something that you want us to be in person for. So we are working on a virtual shop next year. But for now, the amount of knowledge that we're covering, the depth in which we're covering it really requires people to really get the value. And look, it's a $2,000 ticket. So I understand that like, if you come here, I have to deliver on it, right? There has to be real value and real impact on your business, not when you go back, but like while you're actually at the workshop. And so we try to keep this to 15 businesses. We will not go over 20. And we really try to keep this to some personalized attention and one-on-one in-person stuff.
So after the workshop and you've given them all the information, their support after, if they've got questions, they can reach back out to you, and it's not just like a tail light class. It's like, all right, you're done. Bye. You continue to work with them after the fact.
Yeah, so a couple of things. They have access to like anonymized versions of what we've talked about. So if you wanted an SOP guide or an employee handbook or something like that, you have these anonymized versions, so you can take those. You have a nice framework to take back with you. And then you do have access. So we're going to reach out in 30 days and give you like an hour consultation and go through whatever friction point you've run into since you left the workshop, right? So like, hey, this is what I was doing. I got to this point. Here's something I kind of am worried about, or I'm not doing right, or something's not clicking here. And we walk through that. I'll give you a good example. Is like we teach hiring. And so this guy was like, look, I'm doing the interviews. I put up the now hiring ads the way you said, but like I'm not getting quality talent. And so what we ended up doing was I got on a tablet with him and FaceTimed, and I did a virtual interview with his next candidate so that he could really understand and feel what like the interview should have felt like. And when we got off, he was like, yeah, I'm not asking the questions the way you're asking them. And now I understand what you're looking for. Like their answer gave you insight to ask an even deeper question. And we found out that guy really wasn't a good fit, but I wouldn't have dove that deep into it. And stuff like that. I think the support that you get after you leave just allows you to continue to lean on us for growth.
That's good. We had a question from Jonathan Hernandez. Where can we find out more information about your workshop?
You can go to thefoundersworkshop.com and you can check everything out there. We have videos. There's a YouTube channel. It has a couple of testimonial videos, some highlight videos. We have a Facebook page, The Founders Workshop. So you can go there as well and see some of our content that we're posting regularly. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me through private messenger on Facebook. Happy to answer any questions directly for you guys.
And we dropped the link there in the comment section. So we dropped that for you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well, you said the ticket price is $2,000. Is that
Yeah.
what you say?
That is correct. Yes, sir. It's 2.5 days. It will be in Atlanta. And like I said, it's pretty in depth. I mean, we started 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, and we end at like 5, 6 o'clock in the day. And then we generally have some type of event that they'll go to after hours if they choose to. So not like a networking event, which I think is really good. But this is more of if you want to see what a booth looks like to go out to a festival, we try to time these when we're going out, have some kind of festival activity with one of my companies so that they can actually see how we're closing deals at community organizations and events, festivals, things like that. Even in December, we're going to a Winter Fest next week where we'll be actively trying to close some invoices there and get some deals. So I think that's really insightful too. They're able to kind of see how we set up, how we run. I think a lot of people set those booths up, pay the booth, and then they pass out cards and pamphlets, and they're thinking exposure. But we really have a good system where you're able to set up your tablet, and we can close right there, take deposits, and really generate some real revenue off of the booth presence.
So how often do you do these workshops?
Quarterly.
Okay.
Yeah, it takes us a couple of months to set them back up, and then make sure that it's around a time where we can be able to take you guys out into the field a little bit and do things like that.
And they're all in Atlanta?
Yeah.
So you said you'll go to festivals and stuff, like the city throws together something, y'all set up a tent thing or whatever, and just work the community through that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of the ways for sure. So in Atlanta, we have a lot of like little neighborhoods within the city, and they all have their own identities, and they throw their own little porches and pies or a music festival or whatnot, right? And so in these, we get a booth rent because we're a part of a bunch of small business owner associations throughout the neighborhoods, and we get a decent booth rent, and then go out there and actually close deals. Now, remember, I sold my pressure washing company, so what we're closing is mobile detailing, right?
Right.
But our average ticket for my mobile detailer is $265 a ticket. So we're out there trying to close 20 to 25 of those at an event. And it's not really like hawking people down. I mean, you're really just standing out there in your uniform. We have a really wonderfully branded tent, a live TV that plays, and people come up and talk to us. And we usually have some kind of giveaway that they'll fill out for or something like that draws them to the tent. But people see our brand all the time in those neighborhood events, even if they don't talk to us. And I think it's a really cost-effective way to stay top of mind. Some of these things I'll pay $1,000 for the booth rent, and 35,000 people will walk through that day. And I just don't know how you get a lower cost, per impression than that.
Right. I thought about doing the same thing because we got Christmas thing going on now. They'll have during the summer, they have a thing every third Friday for like 3 months. You have every third Friday about getting a booth, setting a tent up, getting a little TV and stuff, and just pictures of clean, dirty, and everything, and stuff like that, and just give them koozies, give them whatever, pens and stuff, just have them set out on the table if they can get them, and try to market some stuff that way. That was the idea I had that we're going to try to do next year.
You
But
need,
don't just,
okay.
I'm sorry, Drew, go ahead.
Okay, for the winter one, you should get a Santa suit and take pictures with the kids and give them your cards.
Do that.
I mean, you got to grow this a little bit longer, just a little.
Okay, I get a fake one.
It's definitely, look, here's the thing. Try to think of it as less like a marketing tool though, and more like a sales tool, right?
Right.
Like you don't want to go there and just hand out koozies. You should go there with a script. So everybody's saying the same thing to greet people, and then they're saying the same like inquiring type of questions that should get similar answers, right? And like, so you could write a script and then have you and a technician out there and have the before and after pictures and stuff like that on like one of those scroll up banners, put that next to your booth, and then have some of the like specialized tools or something out there like on the table, or have a TV where it actually shows you guys like like protecting the plant life and things like that. It has like some just highlight B-roll footage. Yeah, and then like actually go out there with the idea that like, hey, I have my phone ready, I have House Call Pro or whatever you got pulled up, and you're ready to actually like book people and take deposits right there. Even if you're not like you've gotten the system dialed in enough that you can't like take deposits, you can still schedule people. Like you could still schedule estimates for people, right? And that would be a great way to get in front, like fill your estimate calendar pretty quickly over the weekend. If you're in front of 35,000 people and you're able to talk to just 300 of them, and you get 10 estimates out of that, that's a strong Saturday afternoon to listen to some music and drink a beer.
Right. Cool.
That's a good takeaway right there. Because I do a lot of that kind of stuff, but I've never thought about doing a tent. I mean, home shows, but I'm just like, that's just so much, there's so many. But to go out in little festivals, and we have farmers markets all the time, all over the place. We have little communities, we have this. I mean, they're all the same zip code, but they all got their own little beachy names. So they all have their farmers market or their Christmas market or something. So I mean, that's a great idea.
Well, that's one of the things we talk about, like in for Facebook marketing, is like a lot of people will drop a pin and then they kind of do their service area. But like you really should be building like a custom landing page for each one of those little bitty neighborhoods that have their own identity. So it's like this neighborhood's #1 pressure washer every time they click on a link from your Google ads, right? And you're only targeting that area for that landing page. The message gets a lot more specific and people start clicking and buying less about their need and more about how they're identifying with your brand, right? Your landing page and your content can really go a long way to conversion on things like Facebook ads if you are actually identifying those individual areas that you serve. A lot of people treat it all like one big city, but like Atlanta's not one big city. It's like 12 little neighborhoods in one big city.
Yeah. So what would you think of if a pressure washing company went out and did this out there to not use scare tactics, but put information out there that, the mold and mildew can make asthma and emphysema worse, or your insurance agent can cancel your insurance on your roof if it's not cleaned, or what damage it could do to siding. Is that some information you put out there, or would you do it like more of a professional, not professional, but positive way?
Well, some of that seemed inaccurate. So it's been a while since I've been in pressure washing, but some of that stuff seemed inaccurate. So I would recommend you always making sure that what you're putting out there is accurate, right? Like,
no, I mean, you can cancel insurance with the roof. And
if you're educating people on something like that, it's okay to educate them, even if it's scary. A lot of people say it's a scare tactic, but for me, it's like if it's the truth and it seems scary to you, then it seems like that should be something you should be paying attention to.
Yeah, right.
But I always like to look at it, and I talk to our Texas about this. Like, when we're in the field and a customer is talking to us, or we're out doing an estimate and a customer is asking us questions, or I'm designing an ad, my whole goal is to educate the customer,
Yes.
right? And hopefully through that education, I will build some trust, and that'll allow me with good branding to convert to a job, right? But it all starts with like educating them. Because I think if you start from anything else, if you're starting from this way of like, how much money could I make off of somebody, or how many people could I close this week? It's kind of like the sports metaphor where people tell you to get caught up in the act of training, but not the actual end result, and the end result will come. I think you have to get caught up in the act of being like genuinely curious on how to solve someone's problem, and then speaking to that in a real honest way. But I think it's okay to be educational with it, and if it scares them a little bit, I don't think that's a bad thing.
And it's not that they might not sign up with you right now. They might not need their house washed right now. So making that communication, making that relationship with them, they might call you in 6 months when their house is dirty. So, like you said, don't go in there wanting to close everybody, because they might not need that service right now.
Yeah, and look, I think it's really good to be transparent with people in the sales process. So like one of the things that we're really big on is just making sure that we kind of lay out what we're going to do for you, whether it's in a conversation or in a service visit or in a follow-up. So if I talk to you and you don't close, I'll straight up ask you like, hey, it sounds like you're thinking about it. It's going to be another month or two. Would it be okay with you if like every 30 or 45 days, I just send you a reminder email, just keeping us top of mind in case you do need the service? The last thing I want to do is have you overlook this and it start to actually cause damage to your fascia or something like that, right? And then they go, yeah, sure, that's fine, no problem. And now I don't feel spammy when every month I send them an email just saying like, hey, just checking in. Don't worry. If you're not ready, don't need to respond. You know what I mean? And just staying top of mind, because to your point, eventually they will need the service, like especially in some particular areas, Trudy, like there's a lot of moisture. So like, yeah, like that shit's gonna grow eventually. And when it does, like you're gonna have to call me. And my job until then is to again make sure that I'm being professional, I'm educating you, put you in the right position, and ultimately I'm being really transparent about whatever it is that I'm doing. I think if you do that, most people, the trust that you'll build through that process, when you go to do the estimate, you'll maximize that estimate much more too. Yeah. Like they'll be able, hey, I need you got to do the gutters, you got to do the driveway, you got to do the retaining wall. And if you had tried to hit them for that 4 months ago and really pushed them in their driveway that day, not only would you have probably not closed the sale, there's a good chance that you've destroyed any kind of trust with your brand that they had. So yeah, educate people, start from there, and then learn to overcome an objection. I'm not saying don't overcome one, but to Trudy's point, I think there's a point at which you can just ask for some really transparent follow-up and keep them in mind.
Trudy said something about home shows. What do you think about them for like a pressure washer? Like us, we have one in Huntsville, we have one in Birmingham a couple of times a year. What do you think?
I think like what Trudy also said was that like there's different areas, different things work. I think, I personally, I wouldn't spend a lot of time in a home show, but we have my area particularly dialed in on what works for us in marketing. I also have traveled across the United States, and I can tell you that in like a more rural area, a home show would go a long way to driving some business to you. And so I think that it really just depends on what area you're actually servicing, on whether a lot of people in that area see the value in home service shows.
So what other avenues would you suggest? I always tell them that I do the guerrilla marketing is what they call it. But if you, I go to the fall festivals at the schools, or I donate any silent auction, like I donate a house wash, and I try to attend that event. And before they pull that paper where I've got the name and phone number, I take a picture of it or ask if I can have a copy. So, because the people are bidding on this service because they need it. So, I always do that too. Anybody calls me, hey, can you donate for this school or this school? I'm like, heck yeah, because my logo is on there. People know what I'm doing, and their kids are everything. Mm-hmm. So that gives us a lot of traction with the branding. What's your thoughts on those kind of things?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think whatever you're doing in marketing, the main thing is that you're tracking it, so that you can see the return on it, right? Like you can make a bad decision in marketing as long as you're tracking it, so that you don't make the same decision over and over again that's bad, right? But with that being said, I mean, we donate to certain stuff that I know that will draw attention to us in the way that I want from the customers that we want to have. And it's nice because I get to be nice, right? So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
right, donating to a school, or like, there's a neighbor in need community organization that's in Atlanta, it's in a lot of other cities, where we try to raise money to help service companies come in and replace roofs or gutters for elderly people that maybe can't afford to do the maintenance on their homes anymore, that type of stuff. And so as a pressure washer, I got involved with that. And then after we sold that as a detailer, now I'm more of a donator now than a service provider, but we used to try to donate our time at the pressure washing company for that. Any of that kind of stuff I think is wonderful. And to be honest, like, this is how far it goes as far as what it does for you in your community. We used to do that, and when we started our detailing company, the communities that we were really heavily involved in, we put that out on Facebook, and people we didn't know, like in community Facebook groups or something, people that we didn't know that just knew we were attached to that previous brand just started supporting the new brand. And so, it's very helpful to be a part of your community, because if you are, that's a staying power that you don't have on a Facebook ad. And so, by all means, as much as I talk about paid ads, like, I'll stress again, you need to maximize your free avenues of marketing, and then also maybe maximize some of the avenues of marketing that necessarily aren't as cost effective but have more staying value, right? And so, like, being involved in schools or community organizations, or helping open a dog park, or go and buy. And my pressure washer company used to go by and just like grab the trash at the dog park once a week for this city, so that they didn't have to pay somebody to do it, and they were able to. And it was just like, it literally cost us nothing to swing by and do that. We're in that side of town all the time, and every time they had a community event, they always would thank us for taking the trash. And it's like, it cost it cost me almost nothing for that. So I think those things are awesome. If you ever get involved in your community, it goes a long way.
I mean, that's where you start. That's where you work. So if you give back, they're going to give back as well. So it's for me, I enjoy it. Just like the industry, pressure washing industry, I donate a lot of my time and money and everything with the paint issues. And I don't expect anything back from that. I just do it because I don't want other people having to go through what I went through. I don't want somebody having to pay $70,000 to paint houses because they didn't know. So just being in any community, whether it be in the washing or detailing or your home community, to give it, I mean, it makes you feel good for one, but then you open the door for mentorship or for other avenues. So like, you're not in the pressure washing industry anymore, but you're still giving back to it. So it's like a full circle kind of thing. I think I went the wrong way around that full circle, but it was a big circle.
This is a really big circle. No, to be honest with you, it's not. What ended up happening was I just got to meet so many different people in different service industries, and again, like we all have very similar problems as owners, and I always thought that like the owner part of it seems to the business part of it clicked with me. I had a background in sales and college, and so like doing this, like I'm drawn more to the business than I am the services that my businesses provide. And I always thought it was an interesting dynamic to have conversations, because I'm so intrigued about learning about the actual techniques and services that we provide. And other people always have questions about the business. So when I would go to expos and conventions and stuff and have conversations with people, it just seemed something that came natural and was really enjoyable, which to Trudy, I've seen you interact with people very similar, right? And I think for me, it was just kind of like a light bulb moment at some point where I was like you're having these conversations, you're enjoying it anyways. Like, how do you like put this together in something that someone can like see for 2.5 days and take with them and be successful and like give back a little bit. And yeah, it's really been, it's been wonderful. We did it when had the pressure washing company, we had a pressure washing kind of convention up here. It's not the right word for it, but like we had like 25 businesses that came out. And now we've been doing it with the Founders Workshop and having service businesses in general, not just specifically pressure washing, come out. And it's been really fun to watch some of the owners grow and honestly just change the outcome of. I had an owner, it was like, dude, we were on our way of closing and now we're looking at like tripling. And he was like, it's just the swing, the emotional roller coaster he's on this year is wild. And so I can't tell you how much I enjoyed that.
That's awesome. So back to your Founders Workshop. So you say it's just not pressure washing, it's any business, correct?
Yeah, because we're not teaching you how to pressure wash. What we're teaching you how to do is build systems, how to market, things like that generally any business can take back with them and learn how to better interview and things of that nature.
So is it going to be the same questions you ask no matter the industry?
Give me an example. What do you mean?
Well, you asked, you said you asked the questions to hire somebody or, like.
Yeah, that question for an interview. Yeah, so the questions that you're going to ask for an interview is not going to be industry dependent because what I'm looking for is not experience. Like as an owner of any of the businesses I've had, usually what we're looking for is moral fiber, character, right? I can teach somebody how to pressure wash. I can't teach someone how not to steal from me and be on time and dress appropriately and, not show up on drugs. Like those things need to be already kind of established for you. That's right. Not my job. My job is to train you on the service that you'll be providing for with my company. And so for me, what I'm looking at is people that are organized and, dress clean to the interview and have an established background on a resume where the last job wasn't. I've had guys come in with resumes and it's like, you have 9 jobs on here and they're all from the last 12 months. How is that possible? I don't want to tell you, And it's like, they don't understand why they're like, wait, that's a problem. Like, yeah, you should apply. Like you should have taken some of this off. Okay. And the fact that you don't even know is scary. And so
6 of them off anyway. Right.
All right. So like for me, I think for me, it isn't, we're not asking them anything specific to the industry so much. So it's like, tell me about a time where you worked with a team and you guys had a goal. What was the outcome and how did you accomplish it? And through that story, I can ask some probably more specific questions about the story that'll glean some insights to that person on whether they work well with a team, they follow direction, they like to, delegate. I mean, these are things that I need to know about you as you come into my business, and I can learn those through those questions.
Okay. I find out if you're allergic to chlorine might be one just for pressure washing. So no.
Yeah, and look, at some point, if you're asking questions and this seems like a good candidate and a good fit, yeah, you might have some industry specific stuff. Like if and I'll use roofing as an example. We've consulted with roofers and it's like, yeah, are you afraid of heights should definitely be part of outside of that, how do we know they're going to show? Let's get them at work on time first, right? And then we'll figure out if like the roofing thing. So if the interview's going well, you like them, maybe you have some industry specific stuff that you can ask. Because like for me, our stuff is strictly mobile. One of our things is we have to know, do you have a valid driver's license?
Yep.
And it has to be a Georgia driver's license for my fleet insurance. So like we have some specific stuff as well to our company. But I think overall that really heavy part of your interview, the one where you determine whether this is a good fit, those questions are not specific to your industry so much as specific to the character that we all should be looking for probably.
So do you just do one interview and you're done, or do you do like a first interview, get their resume, talk to them, you get a good feeling, they're in pile A, they're in okay feeling, pile B, never mind, they're in the garbage, and then go back, check their references and call them back for a second interview? Or do you kind of just handle that all at one time?
Yeah, generally what we'll do is we'll have a phone interview, and then we'll check some references, and then we'll bring them in for an in-person interview if they've gotten to that point. Sometimes we have this like calendar, so we just send it's through Indeed, and you can just send it out to them and say, hey, like here are our days and times available for the next 30 days. Because again, I'll preach like we're always hiring. Yeah. Even when we're like fully staffed, like I'll do interviews or my operations manager will do interviews because we want to know like if there's somebody out there that's talented in the marketplace right now that's more hungry or more eager or whatever than someone else that we already have here. And And so, and I've gotten to the point where it's like all of my guys are pretty good right now. I wouldn't let anyone go for just no reason. I don't mess with people like that. But this guy's really talented, and I could see where he could be a manager one day, kind of talented. I got to make space for him. And I wouldn't have known to figure out how to do that. And sometimes it pushes us to grow maybe a little faster than we should be, which is okay. And so, yeah, I think for me, it's always be interviewing. And when you're doing that, just make sure that you're asking the right questions. You're bringing the right people in. Because I'll tell you, I've had guys that are awesome at pressure washing that are a cancer to my team. And so, like, the character to me is way more important than the service the knowledge of the service that you come in with.
I do have a question, and you probably done covered it. I mean, we've talked about so much, but how does the workshop work? I mean, could you give a breakdown on like go in the stuff we cover like throughout the day?
Yeah, I can. I'll send you guys a visual that you guys can post in the comments or something. It's our like itinerary broken down into the 3 days. But yeah, the first day, our main thing is we're going to get into understanding a market analysis, so that you can actually start to even think about running a paid ad. Until you understand your market analysis, you should not be spending money on advertising. You need to know who you're talking to and what content should you go create. Like, you can't even determine that until you have avatars, and you can't have avatars, which is like a literal picture, like Trudy's picture, Trudy's name, her income, her education, and like all of these things. Trudy has a dog. This is a profile. This is an avatar. And I have 6 of those. And when we sit down to either shoot content or write a description for that content or whatever, when we're doing that, I look at one of those avatars and I say, this is who we're writing this. This is who we're shooting this for. Not the other 5, not all of Atlanta, this one person. Because we have 6 ideal clients. And if we hit them appropriately in our marketing, right? So marketing and marketing analysis is really important. So first day, marketing analysis, then we dive into Facebook. That's the end of the first day. Because we want to go ahead and get those ads launched out or find the problems that your ads manager is going to throw at you, so that we can help you get through that, right? We've had people that have like credit card problems, like the ads manager is locked up on them, or they can't, they don't understand how to send it out. They keep dropping the pin in the wrong areas, or they don't understand landing pages. If you're doing Facebook form fill, stop it right now. If you're just like free tip, cut it off right now. And so like getting it to something that's not Facebook form fill is very important. So we do all that on the first day, because I want to see you guys see some ads, some creating revenue for you before you even leave the workshop. And then Saturday is all about interviewing, how to get people into interview, and then onboarding them and having SOPs, right? We want to understand how to get quality people in the door, and then how to have an onboarding and training system that's going to allow them to be successful. One of my big things that I always preach to owners is like, you have to give people the tools to be successful before you can hold them accountable for being successful. I see so many people that are just like, oh, he's not getting it. And it's like, okay, well, like, walk me through your training program. And he walks me through it. I'm like, this is not sufficient enough for you to be this upset with him. Like, I could see a lot of gaps. Like, and so understanding how to onboard. So when people walk into my company, all the apps that they need are already on their phone. They've already had a video link list. They've already read our employee handbook. They know which manager to ask for, and they know what their first day will look like. And they know that their manager is going to explain what the next 29 days will look like during their 30-day training period. We have a little picture of a timeline, so it shows them this is what you're. And so like these things, I think, are what I'm talking about when I say systems. Like, it's really nuanced, and we spend a lot of time on the second day with that. And then towards the end of the second day, but more just majority of the third day is a lot of P&L and making that 6-month plan and writing out that week by week plan, and making sure that when you leave, not only have we already implemented some stuff, not already started writing your SOPs with us, but you have an actual step-by-step guide to double your revenue in 6 months. And so that's kind of the workshop.
So in your perspective, where are contractors wasting the most money with marketing right now?
So I'll give you two. Yeah, I'll give you 2 things. So one, they're wasting the most marketing by not knowing who they're actually sending the stuff to, right? That is the main thing. There's so many people that are running a pressure washing ad to a city that they serve, instead of going, okay, this piece of the city has like this income range, where this piece of the city has this income range. And I might want to target gutter cleaning over here, but target like full, package cleaning over here. And so, because I can do $99 gutters on these ranch style houses, because this area has that, where these are a lot of like 3-story mega houses, right? Breaking down your area and then like building custom landing pages so that when they click your ad, they go, oh, that kind of looks nice. And they click it. And then it goes to a landing page that has like a landmark that they recognize. And it says like, you're their number one detailer in that area. And it talks about what you do in that neighborhood, truly being part of the community, right? We're a so-and-so KABOA member, a member of this, that, or the other. They recognize this stuff. They go, oh, not only did I need the service, not only was he kind of looking good anyways, but then when I clicked on it, he actually is doing a little bit more for me. I'm actually going to get a little bit of social currency from this, because for me, I identify with a lot of that small business, supporting small business or supporting local stuff like that. I'm veteran owned. I know when to push veteran owned and when to push living wage employer in my ads, which one will predominantly work and convert better for who I'm showing it to. And so understanding that's super important. I think that's probably where you waste most of your money, whether it's Facebook, Google, whoever. If you're not setting it up, starting from the point of like, who am I actually creating this for? The most money, though, that I think that people waste and they don't understand this is churn. Churn is the measurement of how many employees you turn over on a revolving 12-month basis. And your churn rate in a labor position is going to be, labor is the most expensive thing that you have in your company. If it isn't, you've misstepped somewhere, because we all are paying a lot of people to help us out. And so like labor should be probably somewhere between 20 and 25% of your company's revenue. And so if you're consistently turning over that labor, there's no institutional knowledge that's being built, and you're always having to hire and train, and there's a cost to that. And I don't think that people really pay attention to the true cost of the hiring and the training. Our average for a technician is $4,000 in the first 30 days. And if you're turning that guy over every 6 months and you hire 5 guys, that's 20 grand a year that you're blowing. And I mean, so when you say, are you blowing money? I think it's labor. I think that's probably where you need to figure out how to retain labor. Oh, dude, Anthony, your dog looks just like my dog.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding.
Really?
That's crazy. I thought my dog jumped up in your lap. That's
why did he get in Alabama?
Had a podcast show pulling here. So anyway, that's my take on where we're wasting money.
So John Tornabene said character is everything to keep the cancer out of the company. Yeah. And then he also said, this guy's smart, just saying I pay someone to do what he's saying, because this is way above his pay grade.
So David,
John's being generous. He's
a cool dude.
He is.
If you had to start over tomorrow with no money, no contacts, what would you do first? I know you built your pressure washing business from nothing, because I used to follow you when I first started out, and you started out. Dude, I hope you started out with nothing to start with.
Yeah, I hope to God I never have to do that again. To be honest, like if I have to start over tomorrow with nothing, I messed up somewhere hugely. I would tell you though, what I learned through selling my pressure washing business.
Let's word that a little different. If you was telling somebody come to you and say, David, I want to start a detailing business.
Yeah.
How?
So what I learned through selling the pressure washing business is that no matter what business it is, if I ever did it over again, I would buy a company that's already established. I would want them to have about 600,000 in net, which would probably put around 2.5 to 3 million, depending on what they do. Roofing, HVAC throws it way off because they have such a high material cost. But 2.5 to 3 million. And I would go to the SBA. I would put 5%, maybe 7% of my own money down. I'd get the owner to finance 10% and the government to give me the rest of the loan, and have the net that was already being generated, the 600,000, pay the loan back, and find space in the company to generate some kind of small amount of revenue. If the company's doing 3 million, it's already got some kind of support staff, middle management that's running the company. Most likely, that's the only way I'm buying it, so I don't have to get in and do it myself. And if you can do that and manage it effectively from that height, you honestly just have to come up with a couple, like $100,000, and go do it again to another company. And I actually know a guy owns 7 businesses and doesn't run any of them and hasn't ever built any of them from he bought all of them through the SBA with different loans, and the cash that it was already generating, he helped grow it, so he makes money off of them now. And he does works from home on his laptop, makes like $500,000 a year. So if I had to do it again, I guess what I learned through selling my company is there's better ways to leverage my money, and I would never start from scratch. That would be my
So you said he done it through an SBA. What's an SBA?
The SBA, like the Small Business of America, like they give out loans.
Okay. I thought you said Pete.
No, SB. Okay, y'all need to. Yeah, y'all got to Google that. SBA, SB business, SBA. They give out loans not only for businesses, like just straight, like you could go there and get a $50,000 loan if you've got 2 tax returns and decent profit. Like they'll give you that almost like instantly as an approval. And so yeah, they help small businesses in America. And then they have other things like if you wanted to buy property, you could go through them, and it allows you to do it with much less money down. So yeah, if you're ever going to go buy Small Business Administration, thank you, Jonathan. I was like, what is it? It's something. Small Business Administration. If you look at it, it's a great way to leverage what, like, say you got $100,000 burn a hole in your pocket. You want to start a company. Don't go start a company. Leverage the 100 with the SBA and go get a couple $1 million company.
Yeah.
So,
I thought you were saying SP as in Paul.
No, oh, okay, yeah. You scared me. I was like, please tell me you know what the SBA is. Okay.
if a business owner only has 5 hours a week to work on their business, what should they focus on?
I think that answer's different depending on where the point of stage of growth is. But I mean, we've said it a couple of times on this call. I think if you're smaller, you're probably trying to figure out marketing, and you should spend the 5 hours a day figuring out marketing. And I don't mean like playing on Facebook and spending money. I mean like going and spend 5 hours a day, or once a week, 5 hours. So every Monday, that 5 hours is gone to an online class that teaches you Facebook, right? I've had a mentor for 2.5 years that like I meet up with regularly because this stuff's always updating. And so even if you learn it, you're still always trying to keep up and learn it. So I would say that some of that time needs to be dedicated to learning new skill sets as an owner, because you're no longer a technician. At some point, you have to start thinking that way. And I think that once you get past that, then it's, well, how do I find people? Because I figured out how to get the jobs. And then once you get past people, you get to that stage where you got more than like 7 employees. You start running into like a culture thing. Now I have people and I have jobs, but the people it's like herding sheep, right? And so you got to figure out how to control that. And so it really depends on what stage of growth you're at. But generally across all industries, I mean, those are generally the bigger pain points of those stages, no matter who you talk to.
Okay. I know there's we repeat a lot of stuff, but a lot of people jumping on and then trying to like make it a little clearer instead of being in a whole long thing. Because I know you went over a bunch of stuff and my head was turning. Like,
yeah, guys, I'll ramble and I have no problem repeating myself. I just don't want to come off as repetitive.
Yeah, no. I was trying to catch little points and you speak well and you know what you're talking about. I'm trying to catch up. My brain was trying to catch up with your mouth and it wasn't catching up very well.
I apologize. Somebody throw Trudy back on Anthony's back for me one more time.
He gets going. He reminds you of Jared when he gets talking.
Yeah.
What other questions do you guys have? Is there anything else?
I was just seeing if we got any comments for you here. Jonathan Hernandez said, so hard to believe, but I don't run ads anywhere, just post on my page. I guess that would be a great starting point. And in parentheses, workshop.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know why, Jonathan, you don't run the ads. It's because you don't know how, and you don't trust the marketing company yet, or you don't have the budget. Like I talked to some guys that are just like, hey, it's me and one guy, and I don't really have the budget to pay a marketing company $1,500 on top of my ad spend, because that would be more than my damn ad spend. Okay. And I get that. So you got to understand the basics somewhere. But if you're not running it for some other reason, like just I don't know, lack of knowledge or something like that, then yeah, come to the workshop. We'll teach you how to run them. I also think that if you're just posting on your page and that's how you're focusing on getting most of your business, that's great, because again, it goes back to maximizing those free avenues first. But at some point, those do kind of cap out. Or you start trading time for the cap out, right? Like, okay, I'll grow it, but it's going to take me years. Where like what I'm doing would take me, 12 to 18 months to do the same thing or something like that. So yeah, I mean, I do see where you start trading time for it, or you have to find like a way to actually start maximizing different avenues. So come to the workshop. Let's talk.
Yeah,
When
and
is the next workshop? What's the date?
It's next weekend, December 12th through the 14th. We do it quarterly, so it was in September. This one's in December, and then the other one will be in second week of March 26th.
Is it too late for them to go get registered?
you booked up?
No, the email goes out tomorrow for people that get tickets, so that you'll know, because we're going to ask you to bring like the back end of your website logins, and like we're really going to dive into your company. So we send you a list of like, this is the stuff you need in order for this to be productive when you get there. Don't be the guy that shows up to the $2,000 workshop and didn't bring his laptop. Like that's not, you're not going to feel good with the guys that are in that room. So, but with that being said, it's December 12th through the 14th next weekend. You can go to thefoundersworkshop.com and grab your ticket. If you guys have any questions about that, feel free to message me privately and I'm happy to answer.
Perfect. Well, we are almost out of time. Once again, that went quick again. I think we just keep talking. That's good. That's what we do, right?
That's my plan. You ask me one question and I talk until we run out of time.
Yeah. Oh, well, we could sit there quietly. It's fine. We bring the puppies in. But anyway, if you want to take us out, and not literally like the banner behind Anthony, but if you want to just talk a little bit and take us out of the podcast, go right ahead.
Yeah, look, I really appreciate this. The Panhandle was fantastic, and I hope everybody goes to thefoundersworkshop.com, checks out the website, and gets a ticket, if not to the December one, to the March one. And let's just try to grow in 2026. Thanks, Trudy. Thanks, Anthony. Bye, guys.
Wish you Merry Christmas.
Yeah, happy holidays, guys. Merry Christmas.
See you.